So if you're a subscriber to this channel, you've probably heard a reoccurring theme, which is to begin with the end in mind. Today is no different. We're going to start talking about what are the 5 steps that you need to take when choosing an annuity, and beginning with the end in mind is going to be the most important. When we're looking at annuities, the reason I say to begin with the end in mind is because you really want to think about what do you want those funds to do for you? What is the purpose of that annuity that you're purchasing? If we look at Investopedia, what Investopedia says is there's actually 2 phases to an annuity. There's the accumulation phase of that annuity, and then there is the annuitization period. So we'll talk about the differences there and why they're important. So during the accumulation phase of an annuity, what you're doing is accumulating money, right? You're going to put money in on maybe a consistent basis. Maybe it's a lump sum that you're just dropping in. Maybe you're 1035 exchanging dollars from a life insurance contract or another annuity, and that's accumulating inside of this annuity. So in that phase, what happens is most of the gains, or almost any of the gains really, are going to be tax deferred. Once you've reached age 59 and a half, because of the rules set by the government, they say, hey, now if you want to start withdrawing money from that annuity, you can have access to that penalty free. But in your accumulation phase, even if you're older than 59 and a half, you can still allow that to accumulate and defer taxes on. But at some point, you're going to want to annuitize the contract, right? You're going to want to step into that annuitization period. And what does that really mean? That's when you start taking money out. You start getting paid. And that could be in a number of different forms depending on the annuity you purchased. You may annuitize the contract, which means that money that you had there is no longer available to you, but now you're going to start getting a paycheck for the rest of your life, right? Or you may say, you know what, I don't want to give up all the control of that money in exchange for a check. What I really want is I want to just take systematic withdrawals. That's another way you could get money from the annuity during the annuitization phase. Or lastly, what you could do is you could just take a lump sum of that money, and that might be left in the form of a death benefit that's an inheritance for your family, or it could just be a lump sum because you want to go on a real nice vacation. So let's get into step 2, right? Step 1 was figuring out what's the purpose of the money that I have. So step 2, we're going to look at what are the fees associated with this contract. Fees are one of the most notorious things that come up when we're talking about annuities. But not every annuity carries a fee, and that might not be something you heard in the media. Some annuities have 0 fee, some have high fees, and so it makes sense that when you're looking at these annuities, you understand what are the fees and why are they there. Because not all the fees are bad, right? The reason that fee exists is so that you can, you might have a benefit that this thing is providing for you, and that fee may warrant the benefit that you're getting for it. So that's something you want to think about.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rob Gill in the Money Minute. Everything that Ed's talking about when it comes to those 5 steps is so important to make that decision on how to pick and choose the proper annuity. So I'm going to just go with that. One thing I'll add though is when you do those 5 steps, you want to make sure that it's in line with your core values, with your investment philosophy, and within your goals and objectives. If it is, the decision making becomes even more pure, much more logical, non-emotional, and then you'll be on the path to where you want to be. Back to Ed.
The next step, step 3, is what riders are available. This is where it gets a little confusing for people. It's like, I have this annuity and this fee and this rider. What does it all mean? Working with the right advisor, they'll be able to explain to you what these riders are, what the costs are associated with them. When we look at these riders, think about the idea of being able to spend your money, and as long as you have some money left in that contract, your family can get the initial principal you put in back as a death benefit when you pass, right? Or there may be riders that protect your money from market downturn and volatility. There could be other riders that provide a guaranteed income stream without annuitizing the contract. All different riders for different purposes. That's why when we go back to step one, finding out the intent of those dollars is so vitally important to choosing the right annuity. Step four, I already kind of touched on, right? Making sure you've chosen the right advisor to work with. And the way you're going to know that you're working with the right advisor is they're going to show you more than one, right? They're not going to just show you one company and here's the one product that is going to solve all your problems, because in reality, there's multiple companies out there and they all have different features and benefits. They all have pros and cons. And that's something you should work through with the advisor to make sure you're getting the right thing. And so for step five, the last thing you want to think about is this a good company, right? I've seen all the different companies out there. I've chosen the right annuity, I'm hoping, but is the company that I'm working with, are they highly rated? Do they have a good, strong credit rating and good background? Because the important thing is all the guarantees associated with that annuity are going to be backed by that company, right? And you want to have this for a long time. This is a long-term contract. You want to make sure you're with a financially sound company. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I come from an automotive background, right? And how I ended up here is another story, and you might have heard that as well. But one of the things that I always think about is there's a lot of mechanics out there, right? But how do you know you've gotten the right mechanic for you? Some mechanics specialize in different areas, some mechanics specialize on different vehicles, but having the right mechanic is so important because they're going to help make sure that your car runs for a long time, that you're not broke down on the side of the road, left without a tank of gas. So in working with all these mechanics throughout my life, what I learned is there's some really good ones and there's some that aren't so good. And my dad taught me the value of who are the right players on the team, the right mechanics in the shop to make sure the customers are satisfied. That's why I think it's so important that when you're evaluating these different products, I don't think the products are inherently bad, but if you're not choosing the right one for your situation, you might not get to where you want to get to. And that's the value of having an advisor behind you. So you want to make sure you have the right team behind you. You don't want to be left on the side of the road, broken down with no place to go, waiting on a tow truck, right? We're talking about your finances here, and we can't have that sort of thing happen. So if you want to talk with our team, we will get you to the right person to help you with your solutions. Click the link below, and myself or one of the team members will reach out to you.